It's a beautiful day out there today, and I am in the middle of spring cleaning. I started earlier this week. I started with my kitchen. I already have basically all my cabinets done. I just need to do the light fixtures and the floors yet. So I'm hoping to get that done this weekend, and then I want to move on to my pantry and some other parts as well yet. So in the meantime though, I decided I wanted to make a classic chicken noodle soup the way that we has mennonites. I'm thinking it's more of a Mennonite thing. I've never seen it anywhere else. If you Google it, you cannot find it. It's an amazing chicken noodle soup recipe. It's got broth and noodles, and it is delicious. So I'm gonna take you along as I do that, and then after that, I have a cake order that I need to do, so I'm gonna be decorating that as well for a pickup later on, and just a few other things that I wanna get done today. So I'm gonna get going and get the soup going so that we can have that for lunch. So to start off, I always fill my biggest pot that I have, and it's not a super big one, but it's big enough, with water. Fill it up pretty much as you need with water, and then I add my chicken. This chicken has been cleaned, rinsed, it is ready to go in. There is nothing left on it, like impurities or feathers or whatever. And yeah, so I put that in there, and I put a whole chicken in there. That really does give the best flavor for what we are looking for. Next up, I take the star anise and I put it in the soup bowl. And I don't like it too terribly strong. That should be plenty. Next up, ginger. I always use the whole dried ginger. That should be good. Just a small little piece like that. I would never do more than this, but because this is older already, I've had it for a long time and it's not as strong as it used to be anymore. I am just putting a little more in. Next up, peppercorns. And I use the black peppercorns. And yes, I do quite a bit. I don't know if you can see like it. Yeah, it covers, I don't know, maybe a quarter cup. Just shy. And then we've got cinnamon sticks. So these are all just pieces that were in the bottom there. So I'm gonna put all of that in there. Just a bunch of small pieces. And another little piece. That should be plenty. And then next up, we've got parsley flakes. And at this point, I usually just basically fill up as much as I can. It's not quite till the top, but it's a really big soup ball. And then this whole thing just goes into the soup. Oh shoot, you guys, I forgot to put bay leaves in mine. I do put a couple of bay leaves in there, so this is the amount that I'm putting in there. And then I add some of the chicken bouillon. And I always do this brand. This to me tastes the best. It is the Knorr chicken flavor. And because this is salty as well, I usually go light on the actual salt because I do prefer this over regular salt. And to finish it off, I put onion in there. I do either a large one or 2 medium ones. I don't chop it up. I don't prefer the pieces in there. So I always just poke it with a knife. so that it still stays whole, but the flavor kind of gets out a little better. And this soup typically does not have any vegetables or anything in there other than noodles, and if you prefer, you can put pieces of chicken in there. Alright, that is ready to cook now. We'll cook it till the chicken is done. So it is boiling, and I'm just gonna turn it lower just so that it's at a light simmer for, I don't know, it usually takes about an hour or so, but guys, already the house is smelling so good. Like, we love this soup.
These are the noodles that I use. They are a thin egg noodle that are locally made here. I often do make my own, but I just haven't had time to do it lately. So maybe one day when I do make my own, I will record it and I will show you guys, because it is really easy and they are really, really good. They are definitely the preferred noodle for this kind of soup. At this point, the soup has been cooking for a while, and I'm just checking it to make sure that the chicken is done, and it is. It is falling apart. It is totally cooked and ready to be taken out. And one thing with this soup is that you definitely want to add enough spices. In this little white bag here, I just took a little bit of cheesecloth and I added some more spices. I always like to have a little bit more spice than not enough. Once the noodles are done to your liking, we prefer to have them just undercooked, as they do continue to absorb more of the broth once they're sitting in the broth. You just drain the water, rinse them really well so that all the flour particles are out of there and it doesn't thicken the soup. A lot of people will mix the noodles and the broth together, but for us, I don't like to store them that way. So I always just scoop the noodles into a bowl, however much you want, and I scoop the broth through a little strainer just to get some of the soup bits and onion bits and stuff like that out of there. And you just fill it up to however much soup to noodles you like. And this is for my husband, and he prefers to have a lot more noodles than broth, and in a really big bowl, because like I said, it is his favorite. And there you have it. This is the classic Mennonite chicken noodle soup. Now that we had eaten lunch, I was ready to start decorating the cake. I'll be honest, at this point, when I start decorating the cake and I am putting the crumb coat on, it always feels like it's never going to get better, but keep going because it will get better. And once you have the first coat on, the second coat already looks so much better. lot of people use a bottle to do the chocolate drip, but I actually prefer to use a piping bag with a small to medium round tip on there. I just fold the tip over and pop it into the glass so that I can pour my chocolate drip into the bag without it going all over the place. Now that the cake is done and ready to be picked up, it's time to tackle that big pile of dishes. A little household tip to remove the coffee stains from your Yeti cup: take a little bit of baking soda, use that as a scrubbing powder, and it'll come out looking brand new. With the cake trimmings, I decided to make a couple of cake pops, so that is what I am doing here. I should have maybe frozen them a little bit longer because they were still a little bit soft, and the chocolate didn't set up quite as hard as I would have liked to, but they were still really good. This was a vanilla raspberry cake with white chocolate, and it was delicious. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Be blessed.